one of the easiest ways to gain friends and be trusted and seen as someone others can trust is to play the role of advocate. So like whenever you have the chance in a conversation, take the role of advocate for the defenseless because they're not there. They can't defend themselves, right? Offer suggestions that perhaps we don't know the whole story, or that, of course, like this individual, we've probably been guilty of the same accusation before.
Yeah.
You know, I've found, and I've seen others model this too, that when you stick up for the defenseless, even those who may be guilty, you sort of throw cold water on the harsh and progressive march of negative gossip. And you actually model the heart of Jesus on behalf of the entire world. Because he was our advocate. He came, he shouldered sin and negative weirdness, and he knew like, oh, you're all guilty.
Yeah.
And he didn't go up to people and go like, you know what? You know, I had a friend once say like, Jesus didn't hang on the cross. And when he was dying, screamed down at all the people, you know, I'm up here because of you guys.
Yeah. Never thought of that. Yeah.
He was our advocate. And so when we advocate for people, it's modeling the gospel. It's modeling.
Welcome to the Everyday Disciple podcast, where you'll learn how to live with greater intentionality and an integrated faith that naturally fits into every area of life. In other words, discipleship as a lifestyle. This is the stuff your parents, pastors, and seminary professors probably forgot to tell you. And now, here's your host, Caesar Kalinowski.
Hello?
Hello, Heath. What's going on there today, brother?
Man, we are talking about gossip, and if you're human,
This is
you
perfect
felt
timing.
the pain.
This is perfect timing because I'm super ticked off at you right now. Something I heard.
Could we not have talked about this a second ago?
I was waiting until we were recording.
Let the world know.
Hammer you.
Yeah, if
What you say in private, I like to air in public. That's a lot of people do actually with gossip.
Absolutely. If what we were just talking about, like if you're human, there's no way that you're traveling through this life without feeling the effects of people gossiping about you. It is so rampant, even among the Christian community, that I think sometimes we don't even call it for what it is. We disguise it under some other words. So.
It's super rampant. And about a year or so ago, maybe longer, I recorded just a short little 4 or 5 minute video on the same topic.
Yeah.
It nearly go as deep as we'll get to go today. And it's tens of thousands of views, this thing, and people from all over the world writing in brokenhearted because of gossip.
Wow.
And I'm trying to, answer them on YouTube, try to help them out a little bit. So this will take it a little deeper and hopefully help. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can clear up some of, again, like I said, we all have pains from being gossiped about. And actually, we're probably more guilty about gossiping about other people than we're willing to even admit.
Yeah, we're going to talk about why it's so bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to give 7 reasons why it's so bad. And we'll talk about that. And then I'll give you some ways to kind of stop it, crush it.
Yeah. Starting off at the very beginning, how would we define the word gossip? I would say I've seen many things that I feel would be gossip disguised under completely different language. Would you pray for my sister because she's making some stupid decisions and she's getting back into drugs. And did you know that? Yeah. And you're like, no, you're just gossiping. You're not asking
for grace in their marriage right now.
Yeah.
What?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, did you hear?
Yeah. Exactly.
So how would we define from the very onset gossip?
So this is how I was taught it. And it has stuck to me like really helpful. That gossip is speaking to someone who is neither directly part of the problem or the solution in a situation concerning another person who's not present.
Wow.
I'll say it again. Okay.
Yeah.
So gossip is speaking to someone who's neither a part of the problem or the solution, and you're talking to them about another person who's not present.
Sometimes we talk about there's always a sin behind the sin, right? The initial sin is not just gossip, but there's something deeper at a heart level going on.
Right.
When it comes to gossip, if you were to try to navigate and mine out what the sin is that's underneath that, where would you go?
It could be many things.
Okay.
So I'm gonna probably talk about maybe some of the most common, what's the thing behind the thing, the sin behind the why do we gossip? Right?
Yeah.
What's going on there? All sin comes from unbelief. Okay, but first off, by the way, Scripture says gossip's a sin. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
You're tearing people down. In fact, Jesus almost makes it akin to murder.
Wow.
Crazy. If you speak badly against somebody, it's
Yeah.
like you've already committed murder in your heart. Well, why is that? Because you're tearing down their identity. You're tearing down who they are. Their identity comes from God.
Yeah.
It's a big issue. So, you think, well, I shouldn't gossip, but, it's like, no, you're actually tearing down the image of God in a person.
I've never thought about that.
It's like murder.
Compared to murder. Wow.
Yeah. So it is, And I mean, it destroys.
Oh,
That's why we're going to go deep into it. So here's what I think some of the things behind it is. Often it's a fear of man issue.
Okay.
And we're believing that person that we're kind of gossiping to, okay,
Yep.
that are right in front of you, they're more glorious than God. In other words, somehow, and it's twisted, I feel like, if I got the little bit of dirt on so-and-so,
Yeah.
I'm going to build a little alliance here with this person, and I kind of want that. Like, they're real glorious to me, and if they like me or feel like I'm up on the news or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a fear of man issue, actually. We're believing that God's not as glorious as this person I'm gossiping to, not about. And on the other side of the coin, I think we're wanting to kind of prove to ourselves that we're somehow superior or above the person that we're gossiping about. Now, no one ever says that, like you were saying, it's disguised, but you're like, you know what, I'm going to make myself feel better than that person by throwing them under the bus a little bit, and calling it a prayer request or whatever. But it can be that we really do, we're trying to make ourselves feel a little bit better, like, well, at least that ain't me, or we're trying to gain some form of twisted, like I said, favor or alliance with the listener. So those are subtle and they're creepy. More importantly, though, it's commanded not to do it.
Yeah.
And there again, treat others as you'd have them treat you, doing to you, right? How do you like it when you're gossiped against? Worst ever.
Yeah.
Worst ever. And I'm going to be honest. I've been guilty of gossiping.
Yeah, me too, man.
I don't know another person who hasn't. And I've also been really, really deeply hurt by it, like extremely.
Yeah, it's a bit like a wildfire, right? Especially in some circles.
That's right.
When it starts getting rampant and you can't control it. I mean, it's not just necessarily one person talking, but if you're part of that chain of gossip, it's like the game telephone, where you eventually hear back from somebody that heard from somebody.
How do
that
you
they
get it
heard.
back, right?
Yeah, it's
I've heard an analogy where it's like, go out into a field and it's windy and you open up a feather pillow.
Huh.
And then you go, oh, that wasn't true? And you're like, go back and get those feathers back. And
Good
it's like,
luck.
impossible. Can't get
Yeah.
them all back. They've blown all over. You don't even know idea.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful.
Okay, so there are different things, 7 reasons that you have said that you believe that gossip is a poison. You reference it in that YouTube video that you just talked about. Would you mind sharing those 7 reasons that you believe gossip is so awful?
Yeah, there's probably way more than 7.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We'll pick 7 to start with.
Yeah. So I think first it feeds a false and really, really ugly sense of superiority in our own hearts. I kind of touched on that a little bit, but
Yeah.
maybe that's why we're doing it, but it feeds it. This is why it's poison. So you're gossiping about someone. It is feeding a real ugly sense of superiority in us. And one of the main reasons that, that we do this, when we gossip or speak badly, is because we want to somehow make ourselves feel better. It comes back to self-love. And if you feed that self-love, it's going to crop up in all kinds of other areas too, not just in how we speak about others. Like I already said, we gossip and we kind of secretly and falsely believe that we're better than that person.
Yeah.
And we don't recognize that we've probably done, or certainly could do, the exact same things that person's accused of, or worse. That's the crazy thing about gossip. Is like we sit sort of in this seat of superiority when we're talking about it, even if we're trying to I'm trying to help somebody. It's like, but the truth is we've all done that thing, or certainly could. And if you really knew me, I've done way worse things.
Yeah.
So why are you calling that guy out? Why am I calling that person out in this area?
We were actually part of a missional community that fell apart because of gossip. It was one conversation that completely destroyed the community. And I remember we were talking in episode number 539 about how to find true community and meaning in your small group. And one of the things that we had mentioned was keeping short accounts with people.
And
good
episode. And certainly you're not going to have a healthy small group or missional community life if you're gossiping about each other and hiding and blaming.
No,
and
and
all
the
that.
sad thing is those relationships now are just destroyed. Right now there's no willingness to get those back. And so when I think about this false sense of superiority, I think, man, we have to keep short accounts with people. We have to go straight to that person rather than letting any divisiveness come
And that
up.
leads right into like the second thing, okay? Second of the 7 list. That gossip sows distrust amongst others, right? In your team, say, or a team at work, or your family and friends. And like you were just saying, in community, it sows distrust. When your friends or your coworkers or like, your spouse or others, they hear you tearing someone else down, even when it's painted with false sense of care, it causes others who hear that, hear you talking, to wonder what you may be saying about them when they're not around. It's not good.
Yeah.
So if you value, open and trusting relationships, who doesn't?
Yeah.
If you value those, avoid gossip and offhanded talk about others altogether.
It's a great point.
You ever been in a room and you're hearing someone else rip somebody and you're like, holy cow, I hope I never get on that person's bad side. It's not building
Or I'm never going to
trust.
trust that person with
Right.
any.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a good point.
Third, gossiping harms your personal Christian or spiritual witness. You know, if you're a Christian or someone who has strong spiritual convictions and you care about others, well, you stand to severely, break and deteriorate the perception of your opinions and values in the eyes of others when you participate in gossip and backbiting. How can someone trust what you say is true about God when they cannot trust themselves with you? See how these kind of all fit together?
Yeah, it's all interwebs.
So it sows distrust, but then now next, in one sense, you're over here gossiping. Next thing you're like, well, let me tell you the truth, sister.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't know if
I can believe you. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Fourth, people don't often think about this. Gossiping destroys your integrity.
Huh.
In business or ministry or with friends, your integrity is more valuable than gold. And the definition of integrity from like the dictionary from Webster's is the quality of being honest and fair, the state of being complete or whole. So talking about another person that's not present or in a negative manner brings question upon your character as well.
Huh.
Fifth, gossip harms or even ends relationships. You just talked about that.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that someone was talking about you and not in a very positive light? I'll bet it, and it didn't feel good, right? And it didn't serve to draw you closer to that person. Or like, I heard they were kind of backbiting me, and then I just feel closer and warmer now. No, it doesn't work that way.
Not at all.
Gossip never builds up another person or serves to strengthen a relationship unilaterally, either way. It doesn't. In fact, it's one way to almost certainly destroy or strain a relationship.
Absolutely. And trust
hard to
takes a
get
long
past.
time to
Yeah.
rebuild it. Yeah.
Sixth, gossip ruins other people's reputations. True or not even. It doesn't even, well, it was true. Well, that was gossip. Yeah, but it was true. Yeah, but we're called not to murder people, not to gossip them. Let God deal with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or go to them privately. There again, back to the definition. You're talking to people who are not a part of that problem or the solution. It's like, well, I thought maybe if I told them they could help. Then do it with them there. Remember, it's like talking about the person with the other person's not present. That's
Yeah.
the third part of that. Yeah. So gossip ruins people's reputations. And depending on your role in an organization or your age or your perceived authority, what you say about others can carry a lot of weight.
Absolutely, man.
So when you gossip about a person, it can have lasting and often unrepairable repercussions. And I've seen situations where gossips like destroyed careers, actually,
Sure.
in ministries and families. It's like on the news, someone gets accused of something, they're never ever convicted of it. They didn't do it, but they were accused of it and it's on the news.
Yeah.
Done.
Their name
Over.
is done forever.
It's the same exact way in microcosm, but it doesn't feel micro when you just ruin someone's career. Like they're never moving up now at the company or they're not going to get hired for that or whatever, it's tearing them down. Even if it's true, doesn't matter. That's not the point. Or within their family. Think about what is truly at stake before you enter into a gossiping conversation about people. And while you're at it, think about how you'd feel if the shoe were on the other foot.
That's great. Great advice.
And then the seventh one on the list, and there again, certainly not the last, but a huge one, is that gossip will come back to haunt you.
Yeah. It always does.
Yep. I gave that analogy of the pillowcase with the feathers in it. Author Paul Meyer says that gossip's like a fired bullet. And once you hear the sound of it, you can't take it back.
Wow.
And not too long ago, a friend of mine went through like some really tough stuff trying to reconcile a relationship with another friend over some gossip and harsh words that had been spoken years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And they were trying to sort that out. And the man who had said these hard things had actually been misinformed. He had what he heard wasn't true, but he went ahead and passed the wrong information along to others, not knowing that it had actually made its way back to his friend.
Wow.
It was super sticky.
Like you said, this isn't just days ago. This is years. Like this is a long lasting implication.
But I was just having that conversation. I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
It's going on all the time.
Well, I mean, those things are enough to stop you in your tracks. And if, as a follower of Jesus, you want to go, I want to have nothing to do with gossip. I want to be a person marked with integrity.
Right. And I'm trying to give like real tangible results here. The 7 reasons why they're killers.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're commanded not to. And we'd all say, well, I don't want to. I want to, on me too.
Sure.
I want to be reminded of the real pain and suckiness of that. So
Yeah,
there you
severeness.
go. I mean,
So as followers of Jesus, if we want to try to correct this, or if we're prone to be more, like you said at the beginning, I think a lot of us enter into gossip, not even thinking about, just sharing conversations, sharing stories that we don't have the privilege to share with other people. How would you caution us to stop gossip? How can we recognize the symptoms or recognize that it's starting to show up? And how do we retreat from that and shut it down?
First, I'd say start by determining if what is being said, or maybe what you want to say, is gossip. Like, is this gossip? Ask yourself if you're either a part of the problem or the solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to the definition. And if the person that you're talking to fits both of these criteria, means they're also both part of the problem and the solution, then, that might be a starting point. And if they're not, then it's gossip. So right away, doesn't matter if it's true, doesn't matter if you have good intentions. If the person you're talking to doesn't fit both the criteria of part of the problem or the solution, immediately that's gossip. And if you're talking about another person who's not present and able to add sort of their part of the story and perspective, it's probably gossip too.
Yeah.
Right
Super
away.
simple. Yeah.
It's super simple.
Yeah,
So
you can diagnose it
I'm
easily.
talking to you, you're not part of the problem or the solution. You just got itching ears, and the other person's not here. Either one of those is true. It's probably gossip.
Yeah.
There again, doesn't matter if it's even true. So don't be hiding behind the fallacy that says, well, yeah, but it's not gossip if it's true. It still is.
Sure.
Oh, but it's for their own good. No, it's not. Change the subject.
That's really
or
wise.
run your filter before you even speak and go, I'm not bringing it up. And and I could feel it, even just talking about it, I can feel like, I haven't seen Heath in a while. It's like, hey, Heath, what's going on? It's like, dude, what happened to so-and-so?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
It's so easy to go there.
Because I'm just looking for something interesting to talk about. Right?
Sure.
And it's like, wow, that was just so gossip right there.
Yeah.
And here's another weird flip side of this, okay? So I've had this happen to me, and I've probably done it, but I don't do it anymore. I've had people come to me and go like, hey, dude, I want to ask you forgiveness for something. I'm like, well, I don't, for what? Like I had no idea, right?
What's
Like,
going on?
we're
Yeah.
clean. And they're like, well, the other day or a whole bunch of times, I've had that a whole bunch of times, man, I just said some really bad things about you to some people. And, I'm just realizing, man, that's not true. It's not who you are. That weren't even real. And so I just want to say, I'm sorry and ask you to forgive me. Now, here's what's weird about that. I didn't know about it.
Sure.
And it's almost like it's false humility on their part. You know what I mean? It's like, you didn't know I had said those things, and so you have nothing you can do about it, and there's no way to take them back unless we round up everybody, and I don't even know who I said it to.
Good luck.
But I just want to go ahead and ask you to forgive me for it. Whoa, super creepy. Okay, it had just been better if they had never said it.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's a great point.
So, if you feel like, oh, I'm listening to this right now, I'm being a little convicted about people I've gossiped about, first stop it. If you know them really closely and you think there's a chance that it's coming back to haunt them, then you might need to go to them and then I would be super specific. You know what? I'm so sorry. I said this to so-and-so,
Yeah.
and I want to, I need your forgiveness, but I want to go to that person and I want to make it right
Yeah.
with you.
That's great. Bring them
I'm not
into
saying
it.
from 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You got to just trust that to the Lord. Learn, repent, meaning believe the truth now that it's horrible,
Sure.
it's killing people, and move on. But if it's immediate and it's key relationship stuff, and there's a chance they're going to hear about it, or it's hurting their character, you got to clean that up.
Yep.
You got to catch as many of those feathers as you can and get them back into the pillowcase.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Okay. Second way to stop gossip is stop it before it starts. If a conversation you're in starts turning toward gossip, okay, even it's like someone from someone else, remember, you don't have to participate.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have to do this all the time. Someone starts going, I'm like, you know what, let's just hold up. That I'm feeling like guilty here, like that's gossip because they're not here.
Yeah.
So I know, I can tell you're probably really concerned about it. That's why you're bringing it up. So, like honor the person, not trying to be a dirtbag, but they're gossiping,
Yeah.
So you shut it down, right?
Well, that is a very I've been in those situations, and maybe even you've done it with me. It's just like, hey bro, we don't need to talk about that right now. Like this person's not here. And it's convicting. Like that's enough to shut me up. Not shameful,
Well, I
but
just need your
enough to
advice
go,
for something great. Let's get them in the room.
Yeah,
Happy
exactly.
to talk about it if they're willing to talk about it with me.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm not part of the solution because they've not invited it. Dig?
Yeah. And that builds like my view of your integrity as well, for going like, hey, no, we're not going to do this. I actually have a trust with you that, hey, Steve's not going to leave my company and talk about me with someone else because he's actually proven that he's a guy who shuts it down.
Right.
Yep.
So to avoid offending people, those that you're, might be with and they're gossiping about someone, you can turn the focus of the conversation to yourself. Okay, so you don't have to hammer someone. Sure. Turn it to yourself and say something like, I wasn't there for that, so I really can't say. Like that's just shuts it down because you're not really commenting.
Sure.
Or I wasn't involved in that conversation. I probably don't have the full picture. It'd be better if I kept my thoughts to myself, or let's get so-and-so over here and talk about it.
Yeah.
See how I'm turning it to me? I'm not hammering a person like, dude, you're gossiping about this guy.
Yeah.
No, that's like I just strained the relationship. So serve them by just saying, hey, this is what's true of me right now, so I need to stop,
Yeah.
right?
That's helpful.
Couple of cool ways there. Proverbs 17:27 kind of gives us the hip on that. It says, whoever restrains his words is wise, and he who has a cool spirit is a man of understanding.
Yeah.
The Bible uses the word cool.
Do you find that, on a side note, we live in a generation, we were talking this morning offline, of how fast we are to, it's not necessarily about accurate information, and even in the media and with friendships, it's how fast can we get the know out? We see it on Twitter, we see it on like, we want to be purveyors of like getting information out as fast as possible. We'll check our sources later, right? Do you think that has a, do you think that has a play
right now?
Do you think that kind of plays in maybe subliminally or even just logically to how we have relationship as well? We're kind of more prone to want to jump in and share
Well, it's
information.
back to what you were asking me a while ago about the thing behind the thing.
Huh.
Like, why do I want to be the first with the news?
Oh.
Especially dirty news, right? It's kind
Yeah.
of cool. Why? Because I feel like either people will like me because I'm in the know,
Yeah.
or it makes me feel a little better by throwing the dirt. I mean, there's episode number 504 about how to talk about politics without
Yeah.
being a jerk, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't heard that, go check it out. Like,
Yep.
how do you talk about politics without being a jerk? Same thing. Like,
Mhm.
like why is there so much flying around the Twitterverse and the universe and Facebook and people flipping out and they want to be the first to go like, oh, did you hear this? You know, guess what? By the way, when you're talking about, I don't know, senator, congressman, the president, somebody on, whatever, they're humans. You're not there. You're not part of the solution to the problem. It doesn't not make it gossip because they're on TV, by the way.
That's a good point, man.
And then there's even shows that have like gossip in the title. I don't want to throw anybody's like favorite show under the bus, And there's shows that are like, oh, they're all about backbiting and backstabbing.
Yeah.
A lot of reality shows are actually built on it, right?
Yeah.
I've actually known friends that were like, they worked at a place that was on a reality show. And they're like, I can't do it anymore. As a believer, I can't do it because the producers come to us. And even though it's quote unquote real, it's not. It's kind of half scripted. And they're like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go over to so-and-so and kind of lower your voice and like, or whisper and pretend like the camera's not really there and say this about so-and-so. And then we're going to show them that tape. It'll be cool. People will love it. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Well, and the sad thing is that
I got to work with this guy after like 6 weeks of filming or whatever,
Well, the sad thing is that we as consumers like put that under the guise of entertainment, and so it's okay, right? We tolerate it because it's entertainment.
Watching someone tear another person down and gossip about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, hey, I'm the dirtiest of sinners in that, but it feeds it. See?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say, like stop it before it starts. It might be, we need to detune some shows, some input. Okay. Third thing is, to stop gossip is play the role of advocate, when it's coming up. So one way is like stopping it, like turning the conversation around. Like I said, well, I wasn't there for that. It's like, I really can't say, I don't want to, talk about that. But one of the easiest ways to gain friends and be trusted and seen as someone others can trust is to play the role of advocate. So like whenever you have the chance in a conversation, take the role of advocate for the defenseless because they're not there. They can't defend themselves, right? Offer suggestions that perhaps we don't know the whole story, or that, of course, like this individual, we've probably been guilty of the same accusation before.
Yeah.
I've found, and I've seen others model this too, that when you stick up for the defenseless, even those who may be guilty, you sort of throw cold water on the harsh and progressive march of negative gossip. And you actually model the heart of Jesus on behalf of the entire world. Because he was our advocate. He came, he shouldered sin and negative weirdness. And he knew like, oh, you're all guilty. Yeah. And he didn't go up to people and go like, you know what? I had a friend once say like, Jesus didn't hang on the cross. And when he was dying, screamed down at all the people, I'm up here because of you guys.
Yeah. Never
Right?
thought of that. Yeah.
He was our advocate. And so when we advocate for people, it's modeling the gospel. It's modeling Christ. So it's cool.
Beautiful, man.
So whenever you suspect or, run into gossip, please avoid it. Crush it.
Destroy it.
Be the advocate. Guard your heart. Guard your tongue. Okay.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question for our listeners?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, and there again, if they want to like engage with us and others around this topic, if they go to Facebook and they just search Everyday Disciple Podcast, we've got a group and it's on there. You can join it. Just ask to join. We have to approve it, but I'm not, because, we can't really tell who it is. So you'll get approved. But go to Facebook and you can engage. Heath and I both, we're both on there. and other listeners from the show.
That's
So
neat.
here's my question. How have you been hurt by gossip from others? I'll be careful. Don't gossip about the person who's telling me. But how have you been hurt? And how has it changed you and your behavior when it comes to gossip?
Yeah.
I'd really love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Facebook group's good if you want to mix it up, get some comments from other people, get some feedback, and just have a dialogue. So
That's really helpful. This has been a helpful conversation overall. And I think maybe the thing that you're really good at is also just going like, this is not too late for God to redeem situations. If you have been guilty of gossip, hopefully what you're feeling from us is not shame and massive shame. Like you can go and make it right. Like you said, if there are new situations or this has happened recently, like try to track this down, make it right. It's not too late.
And if it's too far gone for a specific thing, but you start to guard your heart and your words and you start to become the advocate, people are going to see, hey, this person's character's changed.
Yeah.
I'm growing in trust. Like I used to not want to say anything around them because who knows where it's going to go.
Yep.
All right. Tell you what, every week we give
Big three.
the big three. Let me go there because we're kind of running along. I'm kind of long-winded today. Sorry.
No problem. And if you want to get the free download of the big three, all you have to do is go to everydaydisciple.com/big three. You can do it right now, or if you're driving, wait till you pull over, or you can pull over right now and do it. Whatever works best for you.
It's that good.
Caesar, what's the big three takeaways for this week?
Okay. First, start by remembering and applying the definition of gossip I gave you to your life and conversations. And here it is one last time, but it'll be in the big three, so it's written down for you. Gossip is speaking to someone who's neither directly part of the problem or the solution in the situation concerning another person who's not present.
That's great.
Okay, so start there. Like that's going to filter out about 90% of stuff for you. Second of the big three, if you know for sure you have gossiped about someone and it's hurt them, go to them and apologize, ask for their forgiveness. And it'll begin to mend your relationships and it'll strengthen trust, as you go along, and trust will be rebuilt. And then third, like I said a bit ago, play the role of advocate. I'm just going to put that down as one of the big three. That's
great.
Huge. So many people need to be advocated for, and there's so much gossip going on. Play the role of advocate. And like I said, one of the best ways to make friends and be seen as someone that can be trusted is to be the advocate. So whenever you have a chance, take the role and defend the defenseless and that person who's not there in a situation.
Thanks, Caesar, for that. It's super helpful, and I'm excited to see some restorative and redemptive work come out of this.
I hope so. I think it will.
Again, if you want the free download with this week's big three takeaways, all you have to do is go to everydaydisciple.com/big three, and we're going to shoot them right to your inbox. And if you're enjoying this podcast, you can jump over to iTunes and leave a review, leave some comments for us. That's helpful for us to know.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe
That
is
way
great.
you automatically get the feed. You won't miss it.
Every Monday you'll have a new, you'll wake up to a new podcast. And it's also helpful for us to know that we're talking about shows and topics that are helpful to you guys as listeners.
Yep. So give us some feedback.
Thanks for joining us today. For more information on this show and to get loads of free discipleship resources, visit everydaydisciple.com. And remember, you really can live with the spiritual freedom and relational peace that Jesus promised every day.